Hello and welcome to another ScratchLink instructional video. Today what we're looking at is we're just going to make a visual clicker remote control instead of the keyboard that we did for eBot, and we're going to combine that with the showing the sensor data. Okay, so I'm going to open up the manual with the keyboard remote control code that I did in a previous video that was combined with the sensor, showing the sensor data. So I'm just going to go and grab that and modify it because it's just easier. Okay, great. So that's the previous tutorial that I did. I'm just going to modify this, so I'm going to get rid of the voltmeters. Oh no, actually I might just put the voltmeters up the top there like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I might put all of these down here in the bottom like that. So I'll put the data, sensor data down there, and I'm just going to make some buttons for the remote control so we can drive it around, and then I'm going to change the code. So we just need to make some sprites, and they are going to be, let's say, the buttons, I'll make a 10 border and black, yep, so there, and then some text, and I'm going to make the text red. Okay, and so just making the stop button here. Okay, so that's my stop button, and I'm just going to make that smaller, 20 maybe. Okay, and I'm just going to put it where I want it, just there. Okay, great. So probably the easiest thing to do is just modify that sprite, so I'm just going to duplicate that and go into costumes and change the text. And while I'm at it, I'll change the names here, so that would be forward, and sprite 1 will change to stop. And we will duplicate that, and we'll go up to costumes here and change that to backward. Great. It's just easier when you're programming if you actually change the sprite name to something that's making sense. So we'll put that there and there like that, and then we'll just need left and right. So let's duplicate that, go to costumes, what have I done now? I could probably spend a bit more time making these buttons look a bit better, but I'm trying to go as quickly as I can. So make that left, and we've got one more which would be right. Okay, so I'll make that a little bit smaller. Okay, so change that one to right. Okay, so let's just move them like that. Okay, so excellent. So we've got forward, backward, stop, left and right. So that's going to be our remote control. We'll make them a little bit closer. Obviously you can make any design. I've just done really quick one. Okay, so all we need to do, we've got our sprites now and we've named them appropriately. So now I'm going to the remote control code that was based on the buttons, the keyboard, sorry, the up and down arrows is right here. So if we wanted to keep all of this code together on the eBot sprite, we could use broadcasting, but that's more advanced technique. Probably what's going to be easier is to split the code up, and then we can use when this sprite clicked for the stop sprite, and then we can put the stop code in that. Okay, that's going to be the easiest and the simplest to do it at the moment. So how do we transfer code? So the first one is up arrow. So this code here, if I want to drop that to forward is up, I just see how it sort of wobbled like that, and then if I go into forward, see how it's been dropped into there. So that's how I transfer code around. So now that is it's just made a copy, of course. So now the down arrow is going to be a backwards. So we're just going to pop that code to in the backwards sprite. Left arrow will go into left, and the right arrow will go into the right code, and then the space bar is the stop, so that will go there. Okay, so let's go check that. So yep, that's the code for stop and forward and backward, thank you, and left, yes, and right. Good. Now we don't want duplicate code, you see, so what we're going to have to do is actually delete all of this code, because we don't want two sets of code trying to control the motors, because the robot's going to get awfully confused. You shouldn't do that. Great, so what we're going to do now is in the stop sprite, we're just going to use the approach of when this sprite is clicked. So when you when you click on the stop sprite, then you're just going to action these blocks. So we're just going to put that code in there. So when this sprite clicked, okay, and it's as simple as that. And then we go, you don't want to put it in a loop, because it doesn't need to go in a loop, because it works on an event basis. So every time you click it, it'll send that code, and then the way that the eBot works is it will keep doing that command until it's told otherwise. So you don't need to put it in a loop to keep it going or anything like that. You definitely don't want to do that. So forward, and when sprite clicked, backward, when sprite clicked, left, when sprite clicked, and right, when sprite clicked. Great. Now that should be it, really. So let's give that a test. So I've already got the robot hooked up to Bluetooth and ScratchLink helper app, and it's all connected here. So I can prove that by going here, which is always a good thing to do. Turn the LEDs, yes. Turn them off, yes. So what we're going to do is get all of this code going. I've got it on a foam block so it doesn't drive anywhere, which is very good practice. Start it, and let's go forward, and you can see that it's going forward. Fantastic. Stop, yes. LEDs, backward, yes. Left, So I'm clicking on the left sprite now, the stop, the right sprite, the stop, backward. Okay, there you go. Fantastic. So that is a nifty little way to make a Scratch user interface, remote control and sensor data interface. Really good thing to start off with, and gets the eBot roaming around and gets the students used to seeing the sensor data coming back. Thanks very much for listening.